Welcome to another episode of Connect the Dots. Today I'm joined by Tommy and Dell from EPICVision. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack. Happy to be here.
Why don't you give us a bit of an overview, Dell, about how the business started?
Sure. Yeah. So I had a career in public speaking, and I was a life coach, if you will, transformational coach. I did that for a lot of years, platform speaking. I had a series of events happen in my life that caused me to step back from my career. I didn't work for almost 10 years in my career at all. And about 4 years ago now, I started feeling ready to do more than what I was doing with my life at that time, to re-engage. And I didn't feel at first inspired to create a public figure, a public position, speaking, teaching again. What inspired me was the possibility of creating an agency that could support other people who have a message to share, a product to share that makes a positive difference in the world. And so I started looking at that. And at that time, I started seeing that a lot of things were really changing in the marketing industry, period. I call it the marketing evolution. It's more than just online, and it's even bigger than a revolution. It's very revolutionary in ways, and everything from, the internet, social media, the ability to automate your marketing, AI now. And so the game has really changed. And so the vision to create EPICVision was to really support people in being able to capture and take advantage of this new age in marketing possibilities, such that they could get their product, their message that makes a difference for people out there in the world more effectively. And as soon as I had that vision for the company, my first phone call was to Tommy and asked him to be the CEO. And 4 years later, here we are, Jack.
Nice. That's a great overview. And Tommy, I read online that you talk about the business is potential businesses failing because of missing architecture rather than products. Can you just explain what that means in practice?
Yeah, so my background was in franchise development. And so we would sell franchises to people looking to start businesses. And we did all sorts of stuff in that realm. That was how I started my career out of school. And that was really the first step of my professional career. And what I really learned there is, with franchising, everything's very structured. It's just, there's a template. You invest, you learn how to run it, and it generally will work for you. And as I left that career to start my own business and start working with more and more small to medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs, and going to local entrepreneur-focused social clubs and stuff, is that most businesses do lack a really good structure. And to answer your question, looking at a very templated world and then going into kind of the Wild West of business entrepreneurship, I started thinking about, it doesn't need to be that complicated. If we can come up with tools that help businesses simplify and kind of template themselves in a way, I think they're going to be a lot more successful. And it gives us a lot of value in the marketplace. So that's a little bit about it, just learning from great systems and trying to bring that to just the everyday, person.
Yeah. And Dell, at what point did you guys realize that you were building, more than just an agency, but, something much bigger?
We sensed that in the beginning, Jack. Even our first website, because, when you start out new in business, you open your doors and more than likely are desiring to start making money even before you have the fullness of the vision. It's going to continue to unfold, right? And so even though we started off with our first website was a lot about that and about the vision and about our desire to impact through our clients, to impact 1 billion people's lives positively. We came out of the gate that way. It's one of the things that Tommy and I really resonated with in doing business together on a project. We got that we both are, service driven and a desire to make a difference through our careers. I think a lot of people feel that way, right? But the longer we really started to refine our processes and the possibilities of what we could create, things got clearer. But I'll tell you where it really, Jack, really settled in for me in a way, and it still continues to settle more since then. So early on acquired a client that we were able to sell a lot of services, sell a lot of our software. Man, it was high times. And through no fault of our own, within 6 months or so, definitely cracks were showing. And then all of a sudden, quickly, that company went out of business. And at that point in time, it represented a significant portion of our revenue.
Yeah.
And so at that point in time, it is, especially with your new company, and we, bootstrap financed it myself. And if something like that happens, you have to acquire a lot of new business right away, or figure out something, to raise money, right? And so at that point in time, the concept that really inspired me first, that we really hadn't developed yet, was to serve what's now would be referred to as your direct sales, your internet affiliates. Some people might even be a part of a structure called a network marketing or MLM type of structure and company. And we had a vision of being able to pull in different versions of technology and services that could support those individuals, that if we worked with leaders in that industry, we could make a big difference for those types of entrepreneurs. And a lot of those types of companies have messages and products that have already a global network and are making a positive difference in people's lives. And so it was perfectly on brand for us. And throughout my public speaking career, there are 3 or 4 different times that I spoke directly for network marketing and direct sales types of companies. And I found that those industries attract mostly people who haven't been successful in business yet. They have a heart to be a contribution. They have a heart to be an entrepreneur, but they haven't been trained in that arena. And those people, when they first come, are very much hungry for transformation and personal development, breakthrough technology, which is the kind of speaker and teacher that I was. And I loved working with them. And so as soon as we lost that client, man, we really honed in on that particular product and have acquired some global clients. It's been fantastic for us. But as we got a taste, Jack, of being able to really fine tune something unique for that industry, we've started thinking since then outside of the box. What other industries could we create something unique for in the tech stack and connect to the automated marketing and AI stuff? So that really was a big point for me and for us.
That's actually interesting. I'm smiling there because I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about, you obviously started in the brand strategy and then expanding into technology, AI, automation. I was going to ask what drove that evolution.
Yeah, Tom, you want to take a pass at that?
Can you ask your question?
Yeah, because you touched on it, Del. You guys expanded into technology, AI, automation. I was going to ask around that. What really drove that evolution? What drove that change?
So I think the heart of the philosophy of EPICVision is finding a way to better serve business owners and also just make it easier and simpler. And the technology we have today really does that. And so you don't need this super complicated tech stack with all these subscriptions and all this stuff people say you need. You need a few tools that just make your day-to-day a little easier so you can focus on developing a good product and finding good clients as a business owner. And with all the AI stuff we have these days, it makes it easy, but still people don't know which one to choose. They don't know how to use it. Like I see stuff online all the time, like, get rid of this with this one tool, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. But like, do you even know how to use it? And do you really need it? And so just trying to simplify businesses for people with modern technology in a way that's easy to use. We're very hands-on with all of our clients. We put a lot of focus into training with our products and making sure whether you have a very low cost subscription with us to one of our higher end products, you get the same support and service as anybody. Because even if you're paying, you're not paying a lot of money for something, you still want to feel like the value of the agency behind it. And so it doesn't matter who you are working with us. We give everybody the same white glove treatment because I think they deserve it. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Can I take a
on.
pass at that, Jack? I apologize for stepping on you, brother. When our software, our automated software, we're a go high level agency. And there are a lot of go high level agencies out there and people that will give you access to the software. And we've added our own unique, flavor and fingerprint to that. It's more than that. But let's start there. For us, what was even more important than giving them access to the technology, because like Tommy said, our job is to make the business owner, our partners, their jobs better and to make them, more effective. But then there's the whole onboarding and supporting and customization and finding out and being able to have questions with people. We have what we call a success audit. And so it's, something that a series of questions, and we then give them a report that shares various aspects of what their whole marketing picture looks like.
Yeah.
Offers some recommendations. And then as an agency, we can even customize, right? And we're living in the age of customization.
Yeah.
To Tommy's point, one more point he made, there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, use this site to create all the agents you need, or to create all of your ad spend, or to create. The challenge with that we're finding is that the people who are smart enough to get in there and start learning how to use their tech to create that don't know enough about that topic to really know and effectively create what they need to create and get it to all to communicate correctly.
Yeah. They don't know what they don't know. Yeah.
What's that?
They don't know what they don't know.
Exactly. They don't know what they don't know. And that's what gets us in trouble. And so our goal is to really work with people to design it and then onboard it to them to where they do own it and they can manage it and they can take it from there, And so I think that kind of covers that.
And I think that, why do you think that so many businesses treat marketing as individual campaigns rather than a full operating system, as you've sort of alluded to?
Think a lot of people don't understand marketing, or they think they do. Marketing can be expensive if you choose the wrong channel. I see most companies that, especially back in like the franchise realm, like most companies that are not marketing effectively, they're trying this huge shotgun approach, or they're not picking it the right way. It's expensive to do it the right way. You can get lucky with some like thing that goes viral, sure. But most companies, when they look at their monthly budget, the first thing they cut is their marketing spend, especially if they've chosen the wrong campaign time and time again. So they just like, oh, this is just a waste of money, So I think it's, again, like a lot of business owners are really, really good at providing the service or, creating the product that they created. And that's where they need to focus. If you don't have experience in marketing, you're going to waste a lot of money. You're going to give all these big platforms all your cash, and they're not going to find the right person for you. It can take the wind out of your sails really quickly if you don't know what you're doing. And because of that, I think people they pick like, let's market here, let's try everything at once. And then they don't really know how to organize the data, really test things the right way. And they see ads for like, use this AI to run your whole, meta campaign. Yeah. And then they set it up and they spend a bunch of money, and the AI is saying like, look at these great metrics. Look how low, like your leads are so cheap, but they're not actually converting into anything. So that doesn't matter. You can have 1 million leads for like $1 and nothing converts. It doesn't matter. So
and AI doesn't always give you, the honest picture back. And by the way, you can go down a thread with Claude, start asking it questions about your marketing, start another thread inside of your same account of Claude, go down another structure. Pretty soon they're disagreeing with each other. And so, for me too, when it comes to why some businesses are still resisting the evolution of marketing right now, I think a big conversation that deserves to be had is this is a lot of new information coming. This realm is transforming rapidly. In the last 10 years, it's transformed more than probably what most human beings have ever had to experience through 3 or 4 different lifetimes of an arena transforming and how it's done. That's a lot to the human central nervous system to be dealing with all these changes. And the vast majority of people who have businesses that have been operating for a while and could benefit by making this transition into effectively taking advantage of the, marketing evolution, they're older, they're 40, or certainly a lot over 50 and 60. And they're still familiar with that old school approach that Tommy was talking about, because that's what you had to do before you had access to your own analytics at your fingertips. tips. You might not have been able to figure out what was working and what was working, so threw the kitchen sink at it. Plus, we're still very familiar and comfortable with that way because it does work. We're not saying do one instead of the other. If you're still fantastic at your normal old school, reach out, go to this meeting, connect with this group over here, and all the ways that you generate, but continue to do that.
Yeah.
There's something about that human connection. But if you were to bring your marketing and your branding business into the now, you would be amazed at what would become possible. And some of them, Jack, of those older business owners might even have new people coming into the ranks to support them in their marketing, right? And are trying to encourage them to do that. But then the business owner says this: I know what I know. It's working when it's working. I don't want the learning curve. Don't change it if it's not broke. They got all these reasons to stay in that comfort zone, right? But the truth is too, the statistics don't lie. Those businesses today that are making that transaction and fully taking advantage of what's available to them right now and making that move are benefiting greatly.
100%. And I like that. I agree with a lot. And nobody likes to stay in that comfort zone, right? It's the wrong place to be. You don't have to share your secret sauce, or you don't have to drop any names if you don't want to. But do you have a client success or a transformation that you guys are particularly proud of?
Quite a few. So there's different types of clients we have. From a book of business standpoint, we do work with a lot of traditional brick and mortar mom and pop shops. And we also do work with this realm of network marketing. To talk about maybe a brand that I'm very, very proud of that we've helped develop, and it's just skyrocketed. Brand we helped co-develop called The Frequency Awakening, which is a team within a direct sales company with a product called Ollie Life. And we were approached by some leaders over there to help develop what we call our affiliate success accelerator. I won't get into all the details on that because we talk about it. We could spend a whole podcast on that. But what we've helped do is with that company, they have a really, really cool product that one of the main reasons we wanted to work with them is it's not a lotion or potion or something like that. It's a wellness device that I see people all the day actually like they're getting healthier with this. So I was like, okay, I kind of can morally get behind that. I don't want to help some lady sell lotions to her neighbors. This is something that actually is really cool. And I've seen some just really incredible stories. But with any company like that, you get a cool, the company's like, hey, here's the product, go sell it. You can make, money selling it. And that's cool. But you don't have professional marketing tools. And so we were able to design a suite of free and paid marketing tools that are being used by thousands of people now within the organization globally.
Nice.
So we have, I think there's 30 different countries now where people that are involved with this company are using our products and tools just to make their life a little easier. Marketing tools that are easy to use, easy to comprehend, easy to share. They don't have sophisticated marketing backgrounds. They just have a product that they bought, they loved it. They want to go help other people improve their lives with it. They don't want to have to deal with marketing this thing or following up with people or organizing a business. They love the product and they want to sell it. And so we helped create a community center with, I think there's like 3,000 people in there where they can find each other. They can talk to one another. They can join virtual events. We created a replicating website system where now everybody in the company has their own unique link to share with people that will automate marketing campaigns. They can collect info. They can share resources and stuff. And then we have a custom version of Go High Level for the people that are really turning this into a full-time business. So they can stay organized. They can build a list. They can review their own data. We tell people all the time, if you don't have data, you don't have a business because you need to look at numbers. And that's something I'm really proud of because we were able to take modern tools and technology, and there's thousands of people around the world using this. Most of them, they probably don't even understand the power of what they have, but they found a product that's the fuel for their business, and we gave them all the tools they would need, and now they can actually do something with it. It makes it a lot easier for them.
We're not just, supporting them and being able to keep track of and automate through a software program. What we do is look outside of the box. How can we communicate your message more effectively for you using
Nice.
both technology and the fact that as an agency, we can script, we can produce videos, we can, design, your branding, your messaging. We can manage at a high level your ad campaigns. We can do your social media campaigns. We get, how do we just to make your life in that whole arena easier, way more than just some software. And so that's the fun part, really, Jack, is really getting into people's business and figuring out. Like we've got a real estate investor client who literally has the ultimate real estate investor strategy, and it's that's another arena that my public speaking career took me through a lot of is the real estate education and real estate investor community. And, to be able to jump into his business and help him figure out another tool and a unique, type of calculator that does this, or a unique way to use AI to create a tool for his people to turn it into a system. And so we're back there strategizing with our clients. Our tagline is Success Accelerated. And we kind of refer to ourselves more as internally, because it's kind of odd to say it out loud, but instead of just a marketing agency, like we're an architecture agency, an architecture for accelerated success.
I like that. That's so cool. And can you gentlemen please share your website? Where can our audience find you? Your, any links, any websites, please?
Yeah. EPICVision.com, just EPIC vision, .com. So if you have an epic vision for success, we'll help you get there.
Nice, man. And Tommy and Dal, you guys are clearly serial entrepreneurs. I'd love if you could share with our audience maybe some lessons that you've learned along the way in entrepreneurship.
Keep it simple. Just one step at a time. Like, don't try to do everything at once. Say no more than you say yes. That's
Why?
You're going to drive yourself crazy, but, get really good at one thing, see the success of one thing. So if you, when we started our agency, we tried to offer everything for everybody. And we do now. We have a software development team. We have a marketing team. We can do really anything a business needs. But we had to, at first, we didn't have the resources to manage all that. So just keep it simple. Everybody is going to have an idea for you. As soon as you go into business, if you are going into business for yourself for the first time, everybody, once people start to figure that out, they're going to come with ideas. They're going to say, hey, you need this, you need that. Just say no, stay focused. Once that's the one thing is successful, go to the next thing.
Absolutely. And
I'd answer that by sharing, don't quit. And, life is difficult at times. Business is difficult. Your dreams can get hit a million different ways. And regardless of how much success you have, you wake up sometimes with the first bad news facing you on your phone already.
Yeah, you do.
And then you have an emotional impact on that.
Yeah.
And then one hits you before you're done with breakfast. And emotional impact on that. And oh, by the way, on top of it all, it's Monday. Damn, right? And so our acronym for the word EPIC is Endless Potential for Intentional Creation.
Nice.
And the most important thing in your business, in my opinion, and it has been for me and it continues to be for me, I'm not a finished product by any means, is me taking on the intentional creation of my being in a way that I can survive this sport called creating my own business, especially if you're bootstrapping it in ways, or if you are getting a loan from a friend or from someplace, it's a little bit fingers crossed, and, you're going to have your up and downs. And inside of that too, know this, no matter how amazing the automation becomes of tasks, no matter how amazing that we could set up an agent for you that communicates with your software, that's connected to all your social media and your ad campaigns, and it's just humming in the background for you, no matter how much all of that technology can do for us. And we learn the possibilities and we can get really lit up, right? If you're somebody that definitely, and I would say this is the majority of human beings, that it sometimes can get in your own way. Life can pull us, the distraction, the focus, the fear, the doubt, the discouragement, the drain on the adrenal resources at times, no matter how good you're eating, sometimes it could just, weigh on you, right? To not give up, to remember that you are endless potential for intentional creation. And the most important aspect to be working on and building on is yourself. The stronger you are and the stronger the team you put together and the more resilient you guys can be as human beings, you'll persevere. You get it figured out. The refinements will come. We are a completely different agency today than when we launched. And the only reason we are that is because we've had some really great ups and some really intense downs to give us access to that refining process. And so you are endless potential for intentional creation. Intentionally create you. Use your business as a personal development project and, take it from there.
No, I like that. And I was smelling that because it is tough. And I heard Alex Samosi the other day say it sucks, and it sucks.
Yes. It
No,
does.
we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. And then we die. And that's life.
This is the hardest thing
absolutely.
I've ever done. I work more than anyone else I know, and I probably sleep less than everybody I know, but I love it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Earlier,
crazy.
you told us not to give away our secret sauce. And I said to myself, well, I better not tell them more about Tommy.
Tommy, Del, thank you so much.